Good afternoon, everybody. It's Josh here from Lookin for Games, and it is March 3rd, and welcome to this week's weekly update. So, as always, we open up with Wednesday night's game night, and tonight's featured game is Marvel X-Men Mutant Insurrection. So, this is a cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. Takes a little bit shy of about 2 hours to play. It's a neat little cooperative game where you pick up the different abilities of the X-Men in the efforts to try to thwart the Mutant Brotherhood. There's a great storyline that's built into it, and had a couple of opportunities to play this and really enjoyed it. So I'd like to see how it goes when we get it to the table tonight for game night. Also for Wednesdays, as always, we have Yu-Gi-Oh! Casual Play, and that's free to play from 6 to 9 o'clock. And of course, when anytime we have free to play events, you're not limited to whatever the featured game is, or even the featured card game. So if you have something else you want to play, say you've got Commander players that want to come down and play, or some kind of other card game, we've got plenty of space here. So we welcome all kinds of gamers, even miniature play on the featured game night. And of course, if you haven't had a chance to stop by the store, you may not know this, but we have a little over 300 titles that we have in our demo library, so you can actually pull those off and try those as well. So plenty of different options on open game nights like Wednesday nights. Of course, on Thursday, we have the painting with Candace, Paint Night with Candace, and that runs also from 6 to 9. Another feature that we're trying to get going again for Thursdays is trying to get some kind of D&D campaign going. So that's something that we're looking forward to sometime here in the future. But for now, for Thursdays, we have Paint Night with Candace. And of course, that's a live event here at the store, but we also have virtual options. So we will link the Google Meet link so that you can jump in on that and be a part of that. If for whatever reason you can't make it to the store, you can always join us virtually. Of course, when we did our painting contest, we also had that option available as well. And we will have that again when the next one kicks off sometime in the near future. Of course, on Thursdays, we have our DIY F&M kits. And of course, right now, the featured set is the Kaldheim. And you get 6 packs of that with 2 packs of standard as your prize support, or for Commander Legends, 3 packs and 2 packs of standard for your prize support. I know that Kaldheim is just barely out of the gates as far as a release, but we are already taking pre-orders for the Strixhaven School of Mages. The neat thing about that pre-release is that it's every pre-release pack has a slightly different set to it. So there's 5 different colleges that you'll be able to choose from. And what we're doing for those pre-releases, if you're interested in jumping in on that, is basically by order of purchase is going to determine your availability for the college, because there's a limited number of each one. So if for whatever reason you don't get your order in right away, you may miss out on the college that you were looking to jump into. So make sure that you get those orders in as soon as possible so that we can get those numbers nailed down and you can get the college that you want. So, of course, F&M kits, those run from Thursday through Sunday. So starting tomorrow, those will be available for purchase. New game in stock. It is Plankton Rising. It's a SpongeBob SquarePants themed Rising game. The Rising series from the OP or USAopoly, depending on who you ask, they have come up with this really neat concept of you have like one main villain or character that is the feature, and he moves around from place to place and does different things, does damage, they call it something different for the Plankton game. But what they've done is they've made every game just a little bit more, unique enough to make it want to be playable. So every one of the games, they all have that same basic mechanic of the person that moves around and does different actions. But every one of the games is just a little bit different, and that's no exception with the new Plankton Rising game. Again, they're all cooperative titles, but you have You have of course, the very cool characters from SpongeBob SquarePants, and you have a different dice mechanic than some of the other games. So, good title to get into. Again, all of the Rising titles that I've had the opportunity to play, the only one that I couldn't play was Dark Side Rising, Grumble, 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 because it's only available in Europe. So, maybe someday us poor saps in the States will get a hold of that title. But in the meantime, we've got like 5 different Rising games to play, including Plankton Rising from the OP. So Kickstarter that is literally on a boat, as they say, for Kickstarter is coming in very soon, and it is Merchant's Cove. In Merchant's Cove, you play the role of a fantasy shopkeeper, and everybody's going to have, it's a very asymmetrical type of title, in the aims to be the best shopkeeper in the Merchant's Cove. So some very neat, unique mechanics that this game is going to have. I always think that the asymmetrical thing is kind of neat, because you have to find, different ways to win, even if you don't have the same abilities as everyone else. And Final Frontier Games puts out some really neat titles, so I'm looking forward to seeing this one. We are going to be rolling out here very soon a slightly different program for the Kickstarters and how we get those sorted out and taken care of, and the ones that we actually end up backing. So that's something that's going to be coming up in the next couple of weeks or so. Play it by ear and see how long it takes me to get the framework together. So speaking of Kickstarters, through the end of the month of March, every Kickstarter that we backed. So I have to be very, very careful how I word this, because there are some games that we brought in the store that were Kickstarter games, but we didn't necessarily back them originally. Those games, those are kind of off the table. The ones that we're really looking at are the ones that we backed as a store and brought in as a retailer. That includes several fantastic titles, everything from Dinogenics to Fujikuro to Age of Steam to even On Mars. So that's going to be 25% off all the way up through the end of March. So that's a very cool opportunity to jump in on some games that, especially some of the ones that have, a slightly higher price tag, chance to get in on those games, including all the promos that we would have or stretch goals that we would have for those games. So that's a Kickstarter sale running now between now and the end of March, 25% off. And of course, Sundays, we have Miniature Melee. We are, again, currently in the middle of a Crusader event for Warhammer 40K. But as I've said before, we have plenty of room, so there's plenty of opportunities for you to get other games to the table, including coming soon to Lookin for Games, the World of Tanks starter set, and some of the line from that Essentials line for World of Tanks. If you've had a chance to play the game online or on the computer or on your Xbox or whatever, it's a very cool theme, war game theme, and they've done a great job of taking that concept and that mechanic and building it into a tabletop game. So I've had a couple of chances to get it to the table, and I think it'll be a really neat game, and hopefully we'll get some cool games going for that. So that's World of Tanks from Battlefront Miniatures. Of course, we have all the other titles, the Star Wars titles, the Song of Ice and Fire from Simon Games, and of course, the other side from Weird. So one I don't, again, I have to update my my graphic, but I keep forgetting about Atomic Mass, who does the Crisis Protocol games. And again, we're still working on the framework for putting together some kind of organized league for Crisis Protocol and getting that game going a little bit more. So with that is our weekly update. I thank you for joining me, and I hope you guys all have a great day.